Hi. Um, Stray. For a few days now, I've been training myself with regret, fear of the future, as fear of death, fear of death of my thoughts, death of my thinking, death of the habits that I have identified myself within, just like how I used to identify myself according to my hairstyle. Um, which resulted in placing myself and locking myself into a position of helplessness, and in that helplessness be depressed about it. What I did this time was breathe and not pay attention to the point, not pay attention to the fact that, not the, well, so to speak, the fact that I am feeling depressed, not even to mention it, to simply breathe through it and not pay attention to the depression, because I realized that my attention is like food, and whatever I pay attention to, it grows, and I didn't want my depression to grow, so I didn't pay attention to it, and instead pushed myself through breath, through breathing, and within this process, I now realize that it's not always going to be happy or blissful, and if at any moment process is blissful for seemingly no reason, it is a good chance that that is a mindfuck. Therefore, to get out of the mindfuck, breathe, don't pay attention to the blissful feeling, don't even think about where it comes from, just breathe. Uh, Thankfully and gratefully, I compounded this point of regret until I couldn't take it anymore, and in one moment disappeared. I'm not sure exactly when it disappeared. I'm not sure how it exactly disappeared, but taking into consideration what I'm trying to do for myself and for the betterment of this world, where everyone is given food unconditionally and eventually be able to express themselves fully, every single person. In consideration of this point, at this stage, it's more important for me to remain constant and stable within and as myself, and to live unconditional self-acceptance before delving into the how and why these depression patterns or cycles occur. Like placing one foot firmly on the ground before lifting the other. Hence the description of walking process. Quite cool. Okay, enough. What happened today? Yes, studying again. This time I noticed that I've been approaching studying the wrong way. I've been treating the subject matter as something outside of myself, outside of reality, when the subject matter, specifically chemistry and physics, they're a part of reality and a perspective of reality. And how it works, the program of life as it currently exists here, one facet. And how I've been approaching the studying point is distrusting myself not to do studying. Therefore, I discipline myself the way I perceive authorities around me try to do with me, which is to manhandle and roughly push, prod, pressure myself to study, when in fact studying, if done properly, is a self-expression as natural as breathing. And being a perspective of reality, or for chemistry and physics, being a perspective of reality it's unnecessary for me to frantically look outside of myself or to memorize, look outside of myself to understand the topic. Just simply find those realizations within who I am and not to strain myself. I've been straining myself and pushing myself to revive, and it's extremely uncomfortable and painful. Yet, when actually studying physically, there exists no pain, and in a certain environment, I can study non-stop, which implies that I become another person when I am in the right setting, which supports studying and time to, as an interesting. I'll just ask myself here now, how am I when I'm in the right setting and I study effectively? I deal with what is in front of me one by one. I do not carry or participate in any feelings about the homework I am doing. I don't relate the homework to any personal experiences. I do not attempt to interject this act of studying with personal opinion and or judgment. Just simply do it. I'm more physical. When I'm in a certain setting, I hold no reaction. I am here studying. Oh. I've been complicating this with so many feelings and emotions, and I don't feel like doing this, and it's really hard to move myself to study, and all of this is just feelings based on belief. And so, common sense self-corrective application is to breathe, just like how I did with the strain I placed myself in and the depression and regret I placed myself in, or resonantly emerged. Yes, resonantly emerged, because at this moment I have no idea where the depression comes from or the regret. Just came up today. Yes, so self-corrective application would be to breathe, keep physical with these points, and assist and support myself by creating a structure or plan when revising, and then simply to execute it. Yep, that's all. Thank you for watching.